I'm here, man. I
Look at you,
apologize.
man. That's the nicest your hair has looked since I've ever seen you on the podcast.
Nick, please.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Getting 10-8. And this is going to be an episode that's just me and Mike. Typically we've got somebody else to sound off of, but we've got some hell, we don't have anything planned for tonight, to be quite honest with you. At the end of
Nada.
at the end of every one of these videos, I've been posting what our email address is, but I don't think any of y'all are making it to the end of the video to see. But what we'd like to have happen, my daughter said that I like it when podcasts open up an email so they can read email from people and respond to that on the podcast. So, if you have any questions or you have any suggestions, you can email us right here. Right there. Getting108 at
Yes.
zmail.com. Mike's favorite email,
And
Zmail.
if you don't like, hey, now if you don't like that shit, send it to BluxyMike1 at gmail.com. I love
There
it, but
you
I
go.
don't know why the hell you picked Z, Bobby. That just, uh-uh.
All right, you want to
Anyway,
hear
here it
why?
is.
It's Zoom mail. So when I open up the Zoom program to record this, guess what I see if anybody sends me anything? Of course, the only thing that I've seen get sent, I did have somebody send me an email just to say, tell Mike this does work. Somebody from Alabama sent me an
Or,
email. So
or do you
anyway,
get penis enlargement emails?
no, I don't get
Did you
any
get
of
the
that
penis
stuff.
enlargement
No, don't. And look,
email?
I don't want to hear about that or extended warranty on my car or health insurance. And if you even talk that shit, I'm afraid AI is going to pick up on that and start sending me this stuff. But no, it's getting108 at zmail.com. You can drop an email off, send it to us. We will take your suggestions, we'll read your stories, and look forward to getting some mail from y'all. My daughter Becca said we needed to do that, Mike. And she said, well, you're putting that at the end of your video and nobody's staying all the way to the end, Dad. She said, put it at the beginning of your
That's
video
not true.
and the end. Hell, you hadn't made it to the
Not
front
true,
of a
Becca.
video. You ain't seen your ass up on the intro.
I don't have time to watch these. I really, it's like this is a job. I go to work, I leave work, and I don't work. So and it's not that I don't love doing this. I absolutely enjoy this. And I was really pissed off when it was 6:39 and you said, yes, we're doing it tonight. Because I told Laura, I said, I don't know if he's going to do it. I hadn't heard nothing from him all day. I don't know if he got in a firework. I don't know what happened. And, but here's the deal, man. This is fun. And we got a thing called What's Mike Eating that we need to really make
A regular
a
portion of the show.
it really is. I don't know. I mean, I
Because
finally,
you have not been on this show without consuming something.
well, liquid don't count.
Right. That's
Food.
it's the first episode, pizza.
Second
Second
episode,
episode, I don't know what you were eating. I was trying to figure it out. Third episode you were on, it was that's when you were having your sweet potato.
sweet potato and trout.
Okay.
Was that speckled trout? Yeah. No, I mean, it's just, it seems like I've eaten something every time. And I guess people need to offer suggestions to what Mike needs to eat. And I promise you, if you send a good suggestion that's reasonable, that doesn't take 14 hours, like I did this entire Mexican eggs Benedict in I took a shower, thawed the crab cakes, cooked the eggs, toasted the toast. 6:39, I think 7:02 we started. So a
Right.
21 cooking with Mike. That's what we're gonna call it.
It's kind of like Fat Daddy Eats. Some of the other videos on this channel is some of my cooking stuff is on the playlist Fat Daddy Eats. We need to get a Mike's cooking videos on there. Now look, what a lot of people don't realize is Mike is a competition barbecue chef, an aficionado. Um, and we talked about it a couple of episodes back, and I'm going to mention it again. Mike throws a barbecue competition, and this coming year, it's going to be October the 18th in D'Iberville, Mississippi. If you want some good barbecue, you need to go over and Mike. They aren't going to be able to see me and you right now because they're going to be looking at the La Cusa poster as I'm talking
So
right
you
now.
got it on the screen. There you
Oh,
go.
well, I don't have it on the screen right now. I will in
When you
post.
edit it, yeah.
In editing, it'll be in here
Yeah.
on the screen. Uh, it is for a awesome cause. All the money raised from this contest goes to the Memorial Cancer Foundation, which what that does is people go, well, people have cancer insurance. Well, that's the medical insurance for the treatment. This foundation helps with let's get them to and from their treatments. Let's get them um, a cool mask or cool cap. Mike
Yeah.
told
Yeah.
me about the cool cap that they can put on the head during chemo to keep you from losing your hair. So I mean,
Yeah.
the stuff that they do is making patients human with this money. It's not treating the cancer, it's making the treatment for cancer bearable. Is that
So
a
let
fair
me
way to say
expand
it?
on it, Rob. Now, it is. So there's here's my take, and you can not like it, you can agree with it or whatever you want, but anything that has the word America, I'm as American as anybody on the face of this earth, and I will cut your freaking throat if you don't like. You burn a flag in front of me, you're gonna see your maker. Allah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anything with American in front of it as a charitable organization in the United States is borderline worthless. American Red
Yep.
Cross,
Yep.
American Cancer Society, American Heart Association, American Lung Association. Dude, they got so much fat in their overhead that I bet it's less than 25%. And I may be wrong. If don't sue me, just call me and tell me I'm wrong. But I would venture to say that 25 to 40%, if not more, of the
Go to
funds
salaries.
raised through any society that says American goes to advertising, executive salaries,
Absolutely.
promotions, etc. So with
Yep.
that being said, yeah. So with that being said, the Memorial Hospital Foundation has they got Amy, Catherine, Bo, and Al. They got four, not five, four employees. They are paid by Memorial Hospital. They ain't paid by the foundation. This is a charitable giving branch, and hospitals are not good. They rape people left and right. They charge you a fortune, but the one thing they've done good is this charitable organization. And they have these four people who administer, and I'll send you the link. I don't know the exact number, but it's over $3 million a year they give out. It's not just for cancer. If you're a colostomy patient, they give bags. If you need a prosthetic because you lost your arm or leg, they do that. They've done glass eyeballs, whatever. I mean, I don't think that's appropriate to call them glass eyeballs anymore, but at one time they were called glass eyes.
Yeah. Yep.
They do. If you break your hip and you can't pay to get your hip fixed, they'll pay to get your hip fixed. It doesn't necessarily have to be cancer or any post treatment. They will, if you're in the hospital and you can't pay and you ask them. So here's the deal with this charity thing: they can't go on the news and say, "Hey, contact us if you can't pay." I mean, you can
Yeah.
only
Because
imagine the crap
everybody'd
that
say
would
that.
open up. Absolutely. but it's also kind of against the law because insurance companies don't want them not having to. Insurance companies don't want to you not have to pay your copay. They want you to pay your copay, and they're going to pay their negotiated rate. So if you go out there and you ain't paying your copay and the negotiated rate, their payments look crap. It's a long. Insurance is the devil. Period. Um, but this
You
foundation,
wait,
hold
wait.
on,
Time.
money in, sends money out.
Yeah. Hold on. On insurance is the devil. Do you remember when insurance became the devil? Do you remember back in the 80s, insurance was just pretty much major medical. It was Blue Cross Blue Shield. It was 80-20 for the first $5,000, which
It
meant you
wasn't
were
that much. It wasn't that
well,
much.
well, what I'm saying is they're going to pay
Yeah.
4,000, you're going to pay 1,000. Then they picked up it was 100% after
Okay.
that.
Yep. Yep.
Now, one thing that they didn't pay though was I need to go see the doctor. Well, that's maintenance. That's not when you went to your doctor's appointment, you paid the doctor directly.
Fact.
Now they've got it where it's all copay,
In,
copay. It's
in
taking.
cash or eggs or chicken or goats or whatever. That's how you paid the doctor
Mm-hmm.
if you didn't have the
But
money. So
what?
anyway,
But what they do now is they have taken that. This is coming out of my pocket, and they're giving everybody this card. And from the 80s on, when they started making, well, really in the 90s, when they were trying to get Hillary Care passed through, and that got, but the insurance companies then said, okay, we're going to show y'all HMOs and PPOs, the
yep,
downfall, the downfall of
yep.
medicine. Um,
I remember that. That's a fact. I've forgotten about that.
yeah, that all goes back to as soon as the government tries putting its hands in something, that's when it all goes to shit. Even if they act like they're
Well,
gonna
I'm gonna
put their
tell you.
hands in it.
Oh no, I'm trying to. This daggum things. I don't want to dial 911 again while I'm on the phone here talking about
No, let's
911.
not dial 911.
Well, I do it. I've done it every episode so far. I think I was just trying to hit the decrease button here. But
My
excuse me. Hold on. Back to what you were saying. So our first kid cost us $27, baby. $27 to have a kid.
holy crap! It,
Our next kid called because she worked at the hospital. She had it at the hospital. It all
got you.
that what next or no, it wasn't. First kid she had at Biloxi Regional. She worked at Gulf Coast. Cost like $27. Then we had another one cost something. And by the time the third one rolled around in '96, it was still affordable.
Yeah,
But today it's gonna cost you $7,800 to have a kid. Period. Unless you own the plan.
yep.
And that's all we're gonna say about that.
And
Uh,
and you got to have that OB doc paid up ahead of time, and that's not the hospital bill. That's just the delivery. That's the OB doctor.
Fact, and it's not just the OB doctor. So you've got the hospital bill, the anesthesia bill,
Yep,
the X-ray bill,
yep.
the whatever bill, dude, they rate people. It ain't even funny. It pisses me off.
Well, and it's not all. It's if you've got insurance, they're coming after you with everything they got. If you got a job in insurance, you're not just paying for yours. You got to pay for the folks that ain't got it.
Well, but here's the deal, man. We somewhere along, I don't remember the conversation. We were having something, and we were talking about cash pay. And it used to be that cash pay got you a discount. Cash
Not
pay
anymore.
today is unfreaking believable. So hey, I don't have insurance. Well, that's going. So say you walk in there you go to the ER,
Yep.
and I'm just throwing bullshit numbers out there. You go to the ER, you got a cut on your arm.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna check in. You're gonna pay $75. your insurance is going to cover the rest of it, or whatever they charge for emergency care, acute care.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't have insurance, dude, you're going to pay $5,000 to go get your arm sewed up. They're not
That's
going to
unreal.
discount cash. They don't discount cash no more. It don't work. There's something with the hospitals and my niece is married to a guy. He's a CPA, and his uncle is the vice president of human resources for LabCorp, the
Yep.
the LabCorp. And we text each other just out of the blue every now and then. We had hip problems, and then he knew about my cancer and asked me how things were going, and we talked and we discussed what it cost, and he can explain insurance. I don't know if that's something we want to do on here. I don't know if Sam would do it or not. I might ask him, but
No, no. This was just a side conversation. We didn't have
I
anything to
know.
talk about.
I know, but I'm just saying it's really intriguing to understand how effed up it is. So say Doherty Fishing Company has 300 employees. You call Blue Cross, you call Aetna, you call United, you call this one, you call these people. Say, hey man, I want to get a group plan, and you're gonna get 7 different rates from 7 different companies,
Yep.
and it boils down to demographic, color,
Where
job,
you're at.
where you at, hours of operation, age of your employees, tenure of your employees. They don't just write a policy. They
No.
they do an actuarial study
Oh yeah.
on your possible claim. And yeah, so it's kind of jacked up, bro.
Yep.
It's really jacked up.
Yeah. They want to know your workforce. They want to know what what age groups your workforce is, what percentage of this age group you have versus that age group. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They do the math. They've got it. They've got it planned out. They say, all right, these employees are going to cost us this much money on, and
They ain't
these.
losing money on you.
That's right. But to make it work out, how many of these young employees that aren't going to be using medical care are going to be paying the premiums
Oh, they
that help?
subsidizing the old people all day.
Yeah, yeah,
But they don't stay around long enough no more. I was talking to somebody today, actually yesterday on the way home, and this one company's recruiting me to possibly do some logistics for them. And I said, he said, man, you got a lot of work experience. I said, what you trying to say I'm old? He says, no, I can't ask. I said, I'm just full disclosure. I'll be 60 this year. I said, but I promise you, I'll work circles around these young kids. And I also am not going to leave for 10 cents. I said, you find somebody today that's over the age of 30 and under the age of 50 that wants to work and do a decent job. I said, good luck. That's the same thing in healthcare. They looking for them. They want a company to get a premium. They want a 1 month premium paid on a 22-year-old kid who's they ain't gonna get a second month out of them. So they got a month of premium for free.
yep,
It cost them a penny. And if you got 1,000 employees, I bet they figure 20% of them are gonna last 1 month, 2 months, and then they're gone. So they made money off of them. But that's that same person that may look at their stuff and say, I need to go to the doctor before I leave, or get pregnant before I leave, or have fat surgery before I leave, or get on the jab before I leave, or get my sinuses fixed before I leave, and get it done and
yep,
go out on FMLA. Hey, I'm sorry, I quit. I'm not coming back.
yep,
It happens every day. I
yep.
don't know, Rob. It's I. My buddy's on Med. He said he had his meeting with his Medicare advisor the other day. Thankfully, I hadn't got to that point yet, but we ain't got free health care when we get old,
No.
which it should be,
Yeah,
because we
well,
got
that's what we
spots in the
paid into all these years we worked.
Yeah, no, it's not even administered by the federal government. It used to be federal government. Now it's administered by all these third party people, and they making money off of you once again. You turn 65, you done paid into it for what 47 years. You would think it would be
50.
free.
Yeah. 50 years.
Well, 15 to 65 is 50.
Yeah.
So if you started at 15 and paying, but generally people get out of high school and they go to college. So let's just call it 18, 20 years old. So 45 years you've been paying into it. You would think that you wouldn't have to pay no more to get health care when you get older, but it doesn't quite work that way. And then Social Security, I hope old DJT takes that freaking tax off of Social Security payments. That would be awesome as hell. That'd be a huge raise.
Well, hell, it was a savings. I mean, the government said that, wait a second now. We got to get off this. We're going
Well, I don't
complete.
mind this. We talked about what's the first thing you did as you finished your EMS? Well, you probably didn't have to. Dude, I'm doing fucking CPR with one hand, doing a billing ticket with the other. So I promise you, EMS and healthcare insurance are tied into old timers, just like with getting 10-8. Because you turn in an incomplete billing ticket,
Oh yeah,
you do it a couple of times, you're gonna get fired. So you can lose your job for not doing complete insurance listings on your patient care
yeah,
reports.
yeah,
So it is directly related to what we do. It may sound a little off the chart, but it's
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
and
Um,
it's sad.
um, what I kind of thought is we might talk about some calls, something that sticks in your head that you had back in the day, like a MVA or like me. The first baby I ever delivered was on a bus stop bench in front of a grocery store on Pass Road.
Can you see that zero?
You've delivered no babies?
Clean works wonders. Curlex.
You curlex those legs shut? What?
Get them up the elevator, bro. Go ahead with your
Holy.
baby. I really did not do that. I'm lying. I never delivered a baby, but I've always joked and they said, "You never delivered a baby?" No. I pulled them legs so tight together, there wasn't nothing coming out of there.
Oh, Joe Paul. God rest his soul. You remember Joe.
Here's to Joe Paul and Joe Paul.
And right, both Joe Pauls. But the original, the Vietnam veteran, the one crazier than a shithouse rat was my partner for many
Big Daddy
years.
Joe Paul. He didn't get two fucks what you thought about him, what he said in front of somebody or nobody else. He's
Hell
here to do
no.
his job, take you to the hospital. That's
Hey,
it.
hey, they ain't shooting at us. That's what he. That's what he
They
felt
ain't
like.
shooting at us. I ain't got to
Now,
worry about traps, and they ain't shooting at me. Let's just go to the hospital. And that's the way he took life. But anyway, go back to your first baby.
well, the first baby I ever delivered was on Pass Road on a bus stop bench in front of the. Now this woman had 5 kids at home.
Oh,
She
they
was on
coming
her
quick.
she was on her 6th pregnancy and she started feeling contractions
Ooh.
and she needed to go to the grocery store.
Mm.
She got on the bus to go to the grocery store to get milk for her other kids, get back and drop that off with them before she went to the hospital was her plan. Well, that baby had other plans. That baby started coming out. They called a unit, and we went over there, and I delivered that baby on a bus stop bench. And there were people around. So, I mean, you're on a bus stop bench. She's squatted up. I get there. She's crowning. Everybody's seeing this. I got my partner bringing me sheets, and I made people hold those
She
sheets
didn't
up.
care, dude.
She didn't, but I had sheets put around us so I could deliver this kid. Yeah, sure did. Little girl.
I'm
Delivered
gonna
a
tell
little
you,
girl.
man. It is the happy and the sad of doing the job we did, and then there's middles. The happies are delivering healthy babies.
Yep.
The sads are delivering dead babies. I had a couple of them,
Yep.
stillborns. The middle ground was north end of Courthouse Road. Uh, we got a call for a lady in labor. I was a pretty new paramedic, I think, at the time. And we pull up, and everything in this subdivision is way up on stilts. I mean, like tree houses, like 10, 12 feet up in the air. Here comes this woman, obviously pregnant, walking down the front steps. I'm like, ma'am, are you the patient? Yep, we got to go. We trying to get the stretcher to her, dude. She's coming on.
Yeah.
I said, what's wrong? She said, his foot's hanging out.
Holy.
His foot's hanging out. She done walked down 12 steps. I think she was on the second floor of the house, so she done walked down 3 floors with a foot hanging out to its knee. 1 foot, 1 leg, the right leg is out. I don't
You
know where the
delivered a
left
breech
leg is.
baby in that truck?
I didn't deliver it. That was probably where I would have used the Curlex, to be honest with you, but that baby was not moving, and I whooped that driver like a damn racehorse. I'm like, go, 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 go. Pepper, it's okay, baby. My dog's running off thinking I'm getting home to her. And, dude, I'm doing a freaking exam. This woman's in pain. This is her 3rd kid. She thought it was going to be easy. Baby came like 3 weeks early. And, I mean, she got a half a leg hanging out her cat. And there was no blood. Her water broke upstairs. I'm like, So I called the hospital. I said, hold me in the elevator. We coming in, and we got a lady, and it ain't. It's I mean, you can have a reverse delivery, but when
Yeah.
1 leg gets caught up in there like that, that baby
Yeah.
ain't
Well,
coming out.
no,
You can
it's
tear
you.
arteries. You can break the legs. You can damage nerves. So
It's
you don't.
it's it's usually a butt first for a breech. It's usually not the legs popping out.
This was a leg, and we and Doctor. I think it was Doctor Graves, if I'm not mistaken. Either Graves or Harris. And we were going to Memorial, and who's the damn OB doc? We went straight to surgery, straight directly to surgery, not L&D, not the ER. We went
Yeah.
straight to surgery. There was no fixing this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, this baby is
Emergency section.
yeah. It was an emergency. Get the baby out the freaking oven quick through the belly, because you ain't pulling them out through the normal barn door. So
Right.
that lady lived, the kid lived, everything was good. So I never delivered a live baby. I had a couple close calls, but this was the closest I had to delivering a baby. Was this lady in Bioview at the north end of Courthouse Road who had, I think it was her 3rd kid. I ain't no way of remembering who it was. Yeah, I've always joked with people, Mike, you never delivered a baby in 25 years? Nope, never delivered one. I had a bunch.
Yeah.
And you remember Ocean Springs Hospital? Dude, it was like a freaking subway line going to Jackson.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
we took babies to Jackson 3 times a day.
Yep.
And we had a doctor over there. You remember Dr. Tucker, the pediatrician? She was
No.
about 5 foot tall and mean as a rattlesnake. And I was a driver. Clifton Parker was the medic. And it was like 11 o'clock at night. This lady shows up, and she was eclamptic, and she had had the seizure, and the heart rate, the stress, it was not good. And they were giving her what's the shit they give them to stop their contractions?
Pitocin.
That
Pitocin.
start that starts them.
That's
What's
right.
what they give us? Magnesium. Magnesium. I think it's magnesium.
Okay.
Lord, what do they give ladies to stop contractions? What do they give pregnant women to stop contraction? Not Pitocin to start them. Is it magnesium? Mag sulfate? Come on. She's
Hold
been doing
on.
it 72 years. I think it's mag sulfate.
Hold on.
Anyway,
I
go
got a
ahead.
phone right here. Go ahead. Go ahead with your story.
AM server unit 102. Old gas burning machine.
Oh yeah. What? Hey, it wasn't LP though, was it?
We did have propane on it. It did. We ended up leaving the ER, heading to University in Jackson. It was too foggy for the helicopter to fly. They had Lifestar, I think was the name of it, from Jackson. And Clifton's back there, and he was freaking out. He's a black guy, awesome dude. He had that disease where the hair is curled up in your face. You couldn't shave or nothing. There's a name,
Oh,
follicular.
okay.
I swear, I think he's back there trying to get his ingrown facial hairs out. Dr. Tucker's back there trying to save this lady and this baby. And she says, "This goddamn thing go any faster?" I said, dude, the speed limit was 55.
Uh huh.
I'm doing like 70. I said, "I'm doing 70, Dr. T. We'll do 100.
Terbutaline.
No, dude. What's mag sulfate?
Terbutaline or mag sulfate?
Pull it up. Mag sulfate and premature contractions. Is that what it
I
said?
did.
It was
Mag
mag.
sulfate and terbutaline is the other.
That's new. That's modern. This is 1985 or 86. I don't think they had terbutaline back then. They may. It don't matter. But that's what they had her on, and we was titrating to effect. Wide ass open, I think. And I think we made it from Ocean Springs to University Medical Center under 2 hours.
That's booking it.
That was the fastest I think I have ever been. And again, I wish the hell I'd have followed up. We don't do enough of that. I think people don't even treat them. You don't want to get attached to people. But the lady that had the, I guess I don't even call it a breach. It ain't a that ain't normal, and it's not
Right.
deliverable. And then the lady that had the eclampsia and the seizures and the high blood pressure and fetal heartbeat race is way up, and we South Alabama couldn't take them. The helicopters couldn't get there, and I always kind of question it, I guess, in the back of my head, because South was 40 minutes away and Jackson was 2.5 hours, 3 hours away.
Yep.
Um,
Why we were sending so many people to Jackson, not south?
you want to know why?
Why? Keep them in.
Medicaid.
Oh yeah, keep them in the state.
Yeah, because the
Keep
state's paying for it. They ain't gonna pay South Alabama.
or
Uh,
or or New Orleans or Slidell.
we used to take some over there, but it was different. But you said talk about calls, and for some reason they always talk about the
Mm-mm.
in the VA.
No.
We could go forever on this shit. Mister, he's dead. She's dead. I don't think we're gonna get sued for HIPAA. We can beep out. Beep, beep.
We aren't
Uh,
saying first names. There's all over the place.
everywhere. I can't even remember his first name. I just know. So, was a VA patient. He lived in Shoreline Park in Bay St. Louis. Shoreline
That's getting
Park.
a little close. He lived in Bay St. Louis.
No, no. So we're gonna just bleep out his name. He lived in Shoreline Park before
Okay.
Shoreline Park was developed. Keyword. Shoreline Park was sold as a on the water subdivision.
It was on the water, all right. If the
It was in
rains
the
go.
damn water. Um, anyway, Mr. was a VA regular, and Mr. Pitt was a regular at Shoreline Park, and it was never really an emergent transport. He just needed to go to the VA for
Whatever.
whatever. And so there's a bunch of different parts to this story. So you remember the S&H green stamps?
Oh yeah.
You get a book of them, you go to the green stamp store, you get pots and pans,
Yep. Yep. Or glasses or cook or
glasses,
plates.
whatever you needed, clothes, didn't matter.
Yep.
And then you also had Jitney Jungle, which had its own reward system. And on the end caps, they had pots and pans and
Yep.
plates.
Yep. Spend so
Well,
much money you can buy a pot. Come back next week, you're getting the lid that goes with it.
absolutely. So Mr. Beat lived in Shoreline Park. Mr. and Mrs. Beat shopped at S&H and Jitney Jungle. And Mr. Beep and Mrs. Beep lived in a trailer. And
Was it at least raised up off the ground?
oh, that's a whole other story, about 4 feet. Um, but no steps, 5 gallon buckets. Um, we went, it was a regular basis. So there's two stories about Mr. Beep I'm gonna tell you. One is first time I brought Mr. Beep home. And the reason I know how high it was is you could lift the end of the freaking stretcher up and roll it into the house.
Yeah,
That it was the perfect freaking height. It didn't matter. It was we had the 93s in. You could just or 35s or whatever they were. Just lift them up, roll them in. If there was enough room in the living room to roll a cot in.
that's right.
Really what you ended up having to do. No, I'm serious.
Was
And it
go
was
in the house and move shit out of the way.
no sirree, Bob. You put the head of the stretcher on there, and Mr. Beep walked off the end of the stretcher into the house. Fact. And so I can recall somebody built Mr. and Mrs. Beep some stairs. And so then we carried them up into, this is from the VA in Biloxi to Shoreline Park. This is like a hour, 10-minute, hour and 20-minute trip. We get Mr. Beep into the room, and I'm looking in the kitchen. He's hungry. He's bitching. He wants some food. I look over at the sink, which goes back to the points for the pots and the pans and the plates.
Because they're all piled up.
They didn't clean them. They just
No,
stacked this shit up.
they're stacked in the sink.
Not just the sink, the entire counter, and
Yep.
it's moving.
Yeah, that's all those roaches.
And more. You just see it moving. And I'm like, man, we got to go. House smelled like cat. They had like 32 cats and a dog, and it was one of those things where you didn't want that to be your first call to shift because it stuck in your nose for days. And you wanted it to be the last one so you can go home and try to scrub your nose out. Next call with Mr. was I picked him up at the VA. He had gotten him a new Foley catheter. Boy, he was so proud of that thing. He wasn't going to piss all over the place no more. He said, man, you know, that bed I sleep in is just wet. I just feel so good now that I got this Foley catheter. It's not a condom. It's an indwelling catheter.
Yep, yep.
So we pick him up. He had had a UTI and he'd spent a little time at the VA. So we taking him home and he's all happy. We get him home and Miss Beep's there and she's like, hey, honey. And he said, I'm hungry. And I don't know what they had. We didn't care. I was ready to go. He had on mismatched cowboy boots. The
Wait a second.
fine ass
Mismatched socks, okay, but mismatched boots?
boots. The VA had the finest ass seersucker robes, blue and white pinstripe seersucker robes.
Yeah.
And they had these blankets that we stole the crap out of. They had a yellow, blue, and red stripe on them, and they were the warmest blankets because Rester, if you didn't have a blanket, he wasn't buying no more blankets. So we had to steal blankets to be compliant with the state. So when John's on here asking him about blankets, he may remember that story, he may not. Anyway, we dropped Mr. Beep off at his house and we heading back to Biloxi. For some reason, we were out of Biloxi, and it was after we had taken over. And so, yeah, it was hours later. It may have been the next shift. I think it was just hours later. We get a call to a bleeding signal 25 or whatever bleeding was.
Yeah.
Edgewater Mall parking lot, east side. That was all the information we had.
Somebody bleeding. Send the ambulance.
Somebody's bleeding. And we get there, pull up, and I see this VA robe and a cowboy hat. And there's Mr. Beep standing outside his 1970 cutlass beater with blood
Foley
everywhere.
catheter's done tore out.
It didn't tear out. He gets out the car and forgets he's got it and goes to walk into the mall.
Yup.
That little tug didn't stop him.
You got to be kidding me.
No, sir, I'm not kidding you, but this story gets better. I've only barely begun. So we take Mr. Beep to the VA. He has done ripped half his urethra out, and I
Needs a
don't
little
know.
surgery.
I don't know how he got home. Same day, we get a call, and they called me on the. How did I get this information?
Station phone?
No. We go into Mr. Beep's house. What had happened was he left AMA from the VA because he
You gotta
didn't
be
like the
shitting.
way they was treating him. Nope.
Yeah, yeah. I know it. I know it.
He's got his Foley catheter with the balloon still golf ball sized. Miss Beep calls dispatch and says, hey, his catheter's out. I need to put it back in. What do I need to do? They said, you got any KY jelly? She says, yeah. Okay.
Lube her up. Shove her in.
Well, we get a phone call.
The bulb was still
Severe,
inflated.
severe genitalia pain with hemorrhaging. Dude, Freddy Krueger and a chainsaw massacre has done hit this dude. There is red shit everywhere. I said, Miss B, what are you doing? She said, well, they just said lube it up with KY jelly and shove it back in.
She left the balloon inflated.
And use strawberry jelly.
Oh my God. Not KY.
And it did.
Smuckers.
Well, it was probably off brand, but she tried to put that Foley catheter back in with the bulb inflated with strawberry jelly.
Yeah, I bet it was hurting him.
Mr. Beep, we're going back to the VA. So this is the third trip in the same day. 8 o'clock that morning, 1 o'clock that afternoon. We work 24 hours. And
Yeah.
like 9 o'clock that night and take him to the VA. And yeah, some shit you can't make up. Some shit you have a hard time believing, but I promise you that's a factual story, every single detail of it.
Damn.
Walked
Damn.
off, pulled it out in the door, sink, cabinet, countertops moving, and then she tries to put an inflated bulb, indwelling Foley in with strawberry jelly. So now it's time for the best story you got.
All right. I don't remember the guy's name. Okay.
For some reason, I do that.
So that's good. I'm going to call him Mr. Smith.
There you go.
Mr. Smith was a pretty prominent jewelry store owner back in the day. But he has now had a CVA. He's aphasic. He does not speak at all. He also doesn't move. So anytime he has to go to a doctor's office, this is a transfer. So we'd have to go pick him up and carry him to the doctor's office. We'd have to pick him up and take him to this appointment or that appointment. He was known to all of us. Had this beautiful home that overlooked the beach. You know what I'm talking about, the beachfront house there.
I think I know who you're talking about, but go ahead.
He was post CVA, and his wife, they were so vain. His wife didn't like that he was thinning, and there was this procedure that came out that was all the rage called plugging.
I remember that. Planting hair.
He was one of the first guys that got plugs put in his head. Now, this is a post CVA guy that doesn't walk. He's not ambulatory. But his wife wanted him to have a head of hair. She took him in and had those
They're paying
implants
for it.
put in. Absolutely. Well,
God,
he coded,
under anesthesia.
and no, he coded. We went to a call where he had coded, and it was a shockable rhythm, and we shocked this man and shocked him. Got him back. Got him to the hospital. Oh yeah, okay, great. We got him back. Well, he's got to go to ICU. Got him back as far as he was. He's still aphasic. He's still non-ambulatory.
Yeah, he ain't gonna get no better other than have a heartbeat.
So, um, it was like 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, he got discharged, went home. We were transporting him again, transporting him back and forth. But then turns out they go to sue the ambulance company because when we shocked him, all those hair plugs died, and she said it was from us shocking him.
Hmm. I
All the
guess Morris Bart would do that shit, or Alexander Shannara, jackasses.
the king of torts down there.
I got a good friend who's a personal injury lawyer, and he and I have had this discussion. He said, "Dude, you got legitimate personal injury, and you got ambulance chasers, which is a term coined for people who
Yeah,
whatever look. If you get an ingrown toenail because you got a manicure, you're gonna sue. Anyway, yeah. So
yeah.
did they win?
I don't know. I had left that company at that point in time. But before all that got settled out, and I was just the basic on that truck. I wasn't the dude shocking, so it didn't affect me.
Dude, I promise you, I should write a freaking book. My brain, for some reason, I have this innate ability to remember stuff.
Yeah,
Um, Ocean Springs, Mississippi. I say I have. I mean, there may be gaps in the memory. The Sundown Motel on Highway 90 at Hanshaw Road by the Greyhound Stadium by Master Grill was the Sundown Motel. And it is forever, I think it was a Sundown. Special effects in a movie couldn't recreate this,
right.
period.
But it's as
You,
clear as a bell right there.
no, I'm talking about the mortal wound,
Oh,
18-inch axe handle sitting in his head, buried
to the hilt.
tenfold, dead center, dead as shit. That was somebody was really pissed off having a bad day. This dude,
And
I'm gonna look that up.
nobody was there. It was just they found the body that way.
Yeah, housekeeping found a dude with an axe in his head. Came in possible signal 25 axe in the head. Possible. There wasn't nothing possible about it. Dude was dead as shit. And whoever, and they got him, and I can't remember it. But when I tell you it was an 18-inch, not a full blown axe, it
A,
was a
ha-
hatchet.
a
A hatchet.
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 Yeah,
Some bitch was buried to the freaking where the handle went
where the
into the
handle stopped on the skull.
10-4. 10-4 dead as shit. And that was one of the ones where I tell you about going with Dr. McGarry. And in restaurant, I actually talked about Dr. McGarry the other day when he was here for the shower wedding thing.
Yeah, wedding shower. Not they didn't go for a shower.
Yeah, no, they came for an engagement couple shower, and it showered the couple. Dude, it rained like crazy. I'm telling you, you know what a washout is when you drive trucks over a
Mm-hmm.
certain area. Look, it
Yeah.
starts out good, and then it starts getting soft and soft and soft. I had probably 75 cars parked in the backyard, 50, 60, 75 cars.
How many did you have to pull out?
Zero. I got good dirt. But if there'd have been another 20 cars, we'd have probably had to change some driving lane in the back. They came right around so they came down the gate in the backyard where the fence is and drove around right across the front of the patio. Um, but I don't know what the hell I was. Oh, we are just talking about Rester. Um, And he is going to do this shindig with us. He wants to. We're
Good.
at it 2 weeks. The next one I was going to tell you about was there was a maitre d from White Pillars,
Oh yeah.
and there used to be a set of apartments, not Chateau de Ville, Chateau something. It was immediately west of the Royal d'Iberville, which is a treasure bay.
Right.
And we get a call, and I'll pause for that so you can delete that.
Oh, you don't have to pause. I got it.
Anyway, Rodney McGilvery, and he was the cop. Rodney Fountain was the cop, and Bob Burris, was the crime scene guy. And that was CSI back before
Oh yeah.
CSI was CSI. I mean, yeah, that was, we get a call to a assault. Yeah, it was an assault. Um, Maitre d was of another orientation, and I guess they had a quarrel, and apparently the other orientation partner didn't like what the guy was doing. 37 times he didn't like him.
Stabbed him.
That son of a bitch was stabbed from head to toe, front to back. Look, if you was trying to cook a fresh ham, and stuff it with garlic and onions and jalapenos,
That's how you do it.
it was pre-poked and cut. Um, I ain't never seen so much blood in my life. I don't. They didn't have to embalm this dude. He was out of blood. Period. There wasn't no blood left. When the funeral home
Mm.
came, they looked and they're like, "Damn." Um, then you said we was talking old, so you got one in the back of your head?
Oh, I've got one. Yeah.
Come on, it's your turn.
I went to a call one time where a husband and a wife is arguing, and the husband, to get away from her, goes out to his garage where he does woodworking, and he's out there cutting wood. And she gets out there and she's yan 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 him, and he's got a skill saw. The call we get to was head trauma. I get there, she's got a lack on the side of her head. She's out in the front yard by the road. He had chased her down. Luckily, she outran the extension cord. He had that
Holy
skill
shit!
saw and was chasing her with that skill saw. And about the time when he got where he finally caught up to her and touched that dang head. Now she was tore up. She had laceration because it still had some spinning
I
going.
mean, another inch, she'd have been dead.
Oh, if she'd have stumbled a step or two, he was going in that damn skull with that skill saw.
Damn.
Absolutely. And that was north of the bay too.
Damn.
You damn right.
Pretty brutal. I look, I'm gonna tell you this, and it's a true story. Dude's working under a car. I think it was in North Gulfport. I can't remember. And why he went from the front to get to the bell housing transmission part of the car is beyond me. I'd have just gone from the
Had it
side.
on ramps
Cinder blocks.
on
Sidewalk.
dirt.
Cinder.
On dirt, not on a concrete flat level driveway.
Well, he had them wrong. He had them sideways, and the web was in there, so there's zero strength in there. Anyway, this car collapses on him. He's conscious as the day is long. And the fire department's fixing to pick the car up. I said, do not pick that car up.
You're keeping the pressure up.
I said, the only reason that dude's alive right now is because he can't bleed out because the car's shutting off the blood.
Correct.
and called Marty Lott. And he said, "Yeah, I told him. I went to the house. She had a cordless phone. I stood on the front porch and I said, Marty, I don't know what to do, man. I said, dude, we lift this car up. This dude's dead. And he said, Mike, there ain't nothing you can do. He said, just get the trousers ready. And as soon as you can get them on him, see if you can get them around the belly. And because it was, you could see where the bottom of the transmission was right on his, right below, right on his diaphragm, basically. And you could see his legs. I mean, he wasn't bleeding.
But he had all
He
that
should have
internal
been
trauma.
hurting. He should have been hurting a whole lot more than he was hurting. And I see it in my head. I'm like, this dude is tamponited by the mechanism of injury, and as soon as we take that thing off, it's like a broken ankle. You don't take the boot off; you leave the boot on.
Yep.
Um, and the fire department is gung ho and I think Dean Morrow may have been on the call for some reason. Dean or Charles Schultz, one of those two, and they fixed to put the jaws under there and jacked his car up. We're gonna pull it. I said, "Whoa!" So we got an IV, and I called Marty. I said, "Hey man, this dude's conscious, alert, not diaphoretic, blood pressure's fine. I got his arm right here." I said, "It's too good. Something ain't right. I think he's got some serious internal injuries, probably an aortic dissection or something right in there." And I said, as soon as we lift this car off of him,
We're
he
fixing.
could.
It's going to hell.
Well, he couldn't feel his feet, which is, I knew
A good thing for him.
a good thing for him. But what told me that had gone all the way through all the organs, through the spine and everything. So I don't know at what point. I don't know where the nerves for the legs come out, but I think it's L4-5. But this was obviously up in the lower T's, and he said, just get the mass trousers, which you young bucks probably don't have a freaking clue what mass trousers are, but they was freaking disco pants. We used to have competitions to race people with inflated trousers. You ever do that?
No, but do you
That was
remember the
good
quickest
drinking
way?
game.
The quickest way to put them on was have Velcro loose,
Oh,
and you. It's a two-person game. You
two
reach
to
your
legs.
arms through, grab their ankles, pick up, and your partner slides it up the patient, and then you
Absolutely.
strap everything down and go to pumping.
What there was four, there's one, two, three, four straps on the legs, and then the double wrap on the belly. So it was
Yep.
it was a chore. And then you had to inflate them. So you had the belly inflator and you had the leg inflator. You're supposed to start your leg, work the way, all that bullshit. But anyway, Marty knew exactly what was going on. He agreed with me. He says, dude, just haul ass. And dude coded pulling in the ER.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as enough pressure on that guy to save his life.
Now,
And
were you a basic truck at this time?
no shit, no, I was a paramedic, man. I
All right.
knew
So
what the
you
hell I
so
was
you
looking
did
at.
have two lines on him, two LRs.
Now his other arm's up under him. I had one arm. It didn't matter. You wasn't gonna replace that blood. You could
Yeah,
have had
but what I'm saying is you did everything you could possibly do.
We had one IV in his left arm, I think it was. The right arm, something was going on. I maybe could have done two in one arm. We didn't do it. It didn't matter. The thing that mattered was getting him to the hospital.
Yep.
And they had to get in there and try to suture up and cauterize and shut off. But, he told me, he said, hey, man, there's some there ain't nothing you can do, period. And that was one of those ones that,
Did he
I
have
wish.
family that he could at least get his last words out before
Yeah,
he?
well, I didn't go there. Fuck no, I didn't go there. I probably wish I maybe should have. They were talking to him, but I didn't want to say this dude's dead since we lifted his car up. We had him in the car with trousers on in 30 seconds.
Yep.
The car came up, we pulled him out straight onto the trousers, wrapped him. We was pumping up. We had the foot pump going and had him in the ambulance. And I promise you, we were on the road from the time that we pulled him out from under the car to the time we left the house in less than a minute.
What about what was your transport time to the hospital?
Oh, dude, 6 minutes. We were in North Gulfport. I think it was on Martin Luther King or John Harrison or whatever the first one is. But you could see it, bro. He literally put cinder blocks instead of at least putting them vertical.
Yeah.
He had it sideways because I guess
There,
Jack just there ain't no strength in it
no,
unless you got
no.
it on that center piece.
Yep.
There ain't no strength in it, and
They will
it
break through.
yeah, there ain't no strength in it. I mean, it lasted long enough for him to crawl under there. But I just can't help but think if he'd have crawled in from the side like normal people would he have
Yeah.
lived? But but when I tell you he was and you know what I'm talking about, the bell housing, just
Yeah.
at the,
Yeah.
it sticks down below the engine.
Yeah. Back of
That
the engine
shit was on his
transmission.
diaphragm. I mean, it was 6 inches of bell housing stuck into this dude, and no tires on the front. It was on him. Damn thing I ever seen in my life, but I knew right away that he was dead as soon as I saw him. There was nothing we could do. There was nothing, and he would have died sooner at the fire department if I wouldn't have called him off. So, whoa, don't touch him. Contrary to my horse in the car.
Now, I remember uh, talking about things like that. You pull up on the scene, and there was these competing drug gangs,
Oh yeah.
and this one drug gang, they didn't give a shit about human life, and if they wanted a corner to sell drugs on, what their mo was, they'd ride up on the guy that's sitting there selling drugs, pop a sawed-off shotgun out the side of the damn window, boom, 2 barrels of bird shot. Well, you'd get there and they'd just be dead as a wedge, laid out. They bled out, shocked out by the time we got there. This one time, bystanders held this guy up. So all that blood is going into the bottom of his lungs. He's gasping. He's trying to get air. Pull the shirt off of him. It just looks like he's got acne everywhere. But you take your hand and rub it on the back, and you could feel it was like you could feel all the pellets, like he had
It
acne.
zipped on his back. Yeah.
So this is full penetration shotgun blast, a bird shot. So you could go on his back, go, okay, well, that right lung's going to be full. The left lung's going to be full. His heart, I don't know how he's sitting here pumping anything. His heart's been hit. And I said, dude, as soon as we lay him down to put him on this stretcher, he's coding. So I got the laryngoscope out. I started the line, made him hold him up, started the lines, got him onto the backboard. I said, all right, lay him down. Laid him down. Sure enough, bip. He coded. Popped that tube in, threw him on the stretcher. Let's go. We get 10-8 to the hospital. And my partner, this was I was the training officer, so I had all the new guys that were
Were you
coming.
gonna go for it?
I was in Biloxi.
Okay.
I got this new guy, and I'm like, get 10-8. And I'm like, where where's my I need some epi, you know. So he slams on brake, he runs out there, and he brings me an amp of epi and he throws it to me.
With the needle?
It's in the box. Throws me an
Okay.
amp of epi. He gets back in the truck and starts driving. I said, I need an atropine. And he's like,
Dude, I got
well,
a code back here. Come on, give me some drugs.
my kit was still back there on the scene. I said, go get my whole damn box and bring me that box. He brought me an epi out of my box.
And left the box. Never thought, hey, we may need this.
He was freaked out. He was freaked out about that trauma arrest, dude. Yeah, he didn't make it there.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, I can think about those days, and it is like I told y'all the other night when we was talking. I don't know if it's Cody or Bud, but I never, and I can't believe I can remember all this shit.
Well, there's
But
some stuff that's just going to stick with us until the day we die, Mike.
now look, Miss Hattie, Driftwood Nursing Home, GI bleed, get a call
That
from this.
smell will never leave you. You
Well,
you will know it the first time you ever get there.
that's a true story. However, this was not a GI bleed.
Oh,
They had a new nurse. Didn't know Miss Hattie. Miss Hattie at the time was probably 94, 95 years old, and this was back in the early 90s, so she's the hundreds, 1900-ish.
yeah.
Little old black lady uh, from central Mississippi.
Ended up on the coast.
Ended up on the coast, and I'm like, Miss Hattie, you okay? Yeah. I said, well, they said you coughing up blood. Oh, I ain't coughing no blood. She grabbed a cup.
That snuff.
I said, what was that? She said, honey, I do the, what's the name
Garrett or
of it?
Tube
Garrett.
Rose.
Rose is what I was trying to think of the name. The powder.
Tube
The fine
Rose.
powder.
Yep.
Rose. I was trying to
Tube
say
Rose.
Jones, but I couldn't remember it.
It was
I
Tube
looked at her.
Rose.
Well, she missed a cup.
Looks
Just down
looks
her
like a
chin.
GI bleed. She's
It
throwing up
looked
that.
like a fucking GI bleed from hell.
But
And
you but you know the smell of it though.
but it was sweet. I'm like, Miss Hattie, you dipping snuff? Yeah, honey, you want some? I said, no, man. I said, are you okay? Is your stomach all right? Yeah. I said, okay, babe, we're gonna let you go. You good? Okay. Went out, told the nurse. I said, she missed her cup. She said, huh? I said, she spit and snuff. She says, oh my gosh, I am so sorry.
Look, I went to a nursing
Keith
home one.
Tub Rose, what was it?
Tube Rose.
It was in a little bitty,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
A
maybe
tin.
yeah, it wasn't Copenhagen tin. It was half the size of it, maybe like a
It
spice jar.
it was about that big.
That's right. And
About
she
that
would
big.
take it, she would take the lid of it and she would dump it in there, and then she would go like this,
Yep.
go in that lip. And it wasn't like a big old chew of tobacco. It was
Mm-mm.
just, it was like a teaspoon of pepper.
My
That
great
amount.
grandmother, my great grandmother, God rest her soul, she dipped snuff, and everybody in the world knew it, but she didn't think anybody knew it. And, and she would be up in the front room of this house on 36th Avenue in Gulfport. She'd be up there in the front room, and where everybody'd park if they came over, they had that shell where you could pull over and park and go through the gate and come up on the front porch
Yeah, through the front porch.
and be in the front room. She'd hear those shells and she'd look out there and she'd see it was somebody coming to see her, and she'd grab that Folgers can and run to the back of the house
To
and
hide it.
hide the can and wash her mouth out and come in like she wasn't dipping or anything. Yeah, it was funny, funny, funny.
Dude, I got a
Francis.
buddy of mine lives right down the road. He is a fireman, and I'm gonna withhold names on this one. He is 54 years old.
Getting close to being time to be able to retire for him.
No, he didn't start till he's 41.
Oh,
Um, this is like a midlife career. He dips Copenhagen,
mm-hmm.
and he thinks his wife don't know.
Oh shit, she knows.
He literally goes out into the yard to take a dip. And I'm like, bro, really? Do you think she doesn't know you're dipping snuff?
Yeah, she
And
knows.
Amy, if you're watching this, I promise you, you know, you know. Just tell Gary you know. Yeah, I mean, you can't mistake it.
Dude, you're out and your buddy.
I did make me. My son bought this for me a couple of years ago. My fireman paramedic son. It's
Mm-hmm.
really kind of a neat glass. It's a leather huggy.
Oh, it's a huggy for it.
Well, it's a holder for it, and then it's just. So I got this one and a Saints one, and I just love this damn thing. I mean, it's
So
heavy duty.
when is
Huh?
Grayson gonna come on the show?
But man, he don't like being in front of people. I'm gonna
I
work on it.
thought you said
I
you had
I
him talked
talked
in.
to him, man, but no, we went to Post Malone, drove to Atlanta, and Post Malone and Jelly Roll for Mother's Day. Took Lori and Grayson, and Madison, and
Awesome.
two other girls. Went up there and had a. I'm not a Jelly Roll's okay. He's good. Post Malone is a gosh damn performer.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you something. Kiss ain't got shit on the pyrotechnics and sound that Post had. Kiss
Yep.
throws some fire out, but Post throws some serious fire out. Anyway, I talked to him a little bit about it, and I'm working on it. He hadn't he's interested, but I don't know if it's gonna happen or not.
Has he looked at any of the episodes that we've done?
He don't watch nothing. He watches freaking TV with his wife. They watch Beverly Hills Housewives and
Oh, good Lord, help him.
yeah, no, he ain't. And he's ate up with it. Fire department. I mean, hell, on the way home we had 6 hours. So we left on Saturday morning. It rained from D'Iberville, Mississippi, to Sandy Springs, Atlanta, Georgia, the entire way. And normally I don't give two shits about it, but we had a 8 month pregnant woman in the car, my daughter-in-law, my son, my wife, and I ended up taking an exit and getting off the interstate.
Wait,
It,
now your daughter's 8 months pregnant, or your daughter-in-law?
no, her, no, no, no. A friend of Madison,
Okay.
her, one of her girlfriends went in. Jake don't like concerts, so a girl that she grew up with, and a girl that her best friend up in Wiggins went.
And she was the pregnant woman.
Hmm.
Oh,
So we didn't drink no. Well, I say we. Lori and I didn't drink on the way up there, and but it was the nastiest rain I've ever been through. Um, there was cars in the median everywhere. So we
mm-mm.
made it up there and back. So we're here.
Well, and this when you hear this man say, "I pulled over to an exit," this guy has driven an ambulance through hurricanes,
Hurricanes, literally,
as has this guy. You
as
know,
you.
when when uh when it's hurricane time, you've got to move patients. You ain't going fast, but you're doing your damnedest to get to them. And there's sometimes in a hurricane, the worst thing that I ever knew was I knew I was going to a call where they needed me, and there was just no way to get to them. The water was up so high, there was no way for me to get to them. I'd tell them they have to get an ambulance coming from the other direction.
You know what? My give a shit meter don't work at that point, and I'm sorry to have that cold heartedness, but ever since I've been on the coast since '74, we've known
Yeah,
hurricanes are coming. I was a public information officer for Harrison County Civil Defense. I told people to get the hell out.
yeah.
And with modern technology, and I'm not saying when you and I were doing the square wheeled ambulances, that was old school. Um, but with modern technology to get stuck from a known approaching natural disaster, what they call that
Poor planning or
no
mule headedness,
uh,
Darwin
natural
selection, natural selection,
you
Darwin
reap
theory,
what you sow, buddy.
the Darwin Awards. That's what
The
they call it.
Darwin, yeah, the Darwin Awards. But you just raised up a good point that I do seem to recall. Back to that Shoreline Park subdivision on the richer side of town.
Mm-hmm.
Hollis Parish, rest in
Oh yeah.
peace.
Yep.
Miss you, buddy. Um,
Hollis Parish.
I was a paramedic student, I think, I guess at the time. Yeah.
Hollis was your instructor, wasn't
No, he was my EMT instructor. Bill Bill McCopoulos and Gary Shirley were the paramedic
All
instructors.
right, Gary. Yep. Well, I need to get Gary on here.
Well, get your Bible out. I love Gary to death. I'm just kidding. I'm being a
He'll be
smart ass.
praying for us drinking.
Yep. Hey, Gary, here's some wine, bud. Here, cheers. Love you, bro. Miss you. I hope everything's well if you're watching. Um,
Absolutely.
so there was a hurricane. Gosh damn, what was it? Had to have been 90. 90. Yeah. No, no, no.
If it was 90, you were at Mobile Medic. You weren't at AmServe with him.
No, I was at AmSir. No, I was at Mobile Medic and we were stationed in Bay St. Louis. Robbie, I graduated in 89, not 88 for paramedic. So I went to work April 15th. So it's somewhere the summer of 89 before I became a paramedic. That's the reason I know this because I got married on April 15th, 89, left AmServe. I was in paramedic school, graduated December 89. So it was probably June, July of 89. I'm in Bay
Oh,
St. Louis with Hollis, and we get a call during a hurricane to Shoreline Park, and cardiac arrest. Came in as a cardiac arrest. Fire department cannot respond. So we right there on Nicholson, go up. The power's out. There ain't no power. We riding through Shoreline Park trying to get out to this house, and we got the old key beam going. Hollis couldn't see for shit. He couldn't drive, so I had to drive. Hollis was 3'7". Anyway,
and 3'7".
and 3'7", yes. And so they ain't like you say turn the light on for us. I said, there ain't no power out here, so I don't know how we're gonna find it. So we finally found the house, and that damn fly up in my house.
I
And
thought Lori was throwing something at you.
no, hell no. And they go Rambo on it.
Bug assault.
I got my salt away. I'm gonna blast him in the next week. Anyway,
I
so
got look, I got two of those when they first came out. They were all the rage. I had a buddy of mine that would come over. I would leave the doors open to the house so we could get flies in there.
just so you
Then
could play,
shut the doors. We'd run around shooting salt all over the
you won't
place
let me shoot in the damn house, but I'm gonna do it because we're on here. She's not gonna complain to me because I'm on the. She thinks I
on the
don't shoot.
podcast.
Yeah, when she ain't here, I shoot the shit out of them. There's a dead one on the window ledge right now, by the way. So we get this call, and we finally find this house. She ain't nobody waiting for us or nothing. We're assuming we're at the right house. So we go trudging up. We know we ain't got no fire department. Everything's on stilts out there. We're
Yeah.
going up 12 steps, 12 feet of stairs, which is probably 16, 18 stairs. I'm lugging the monitor. Hollis is lugging the paramedic kit. I got the oxygen bag. We going upstairs. We're going to figure something out. We are met at the door by freaking Pamela ass Anderson, buck ass naked. Not Pamela Anderson, but she was
Look,
built like Pamela Anderson, buck ass naked. I said, where's the patient? She's in here. And here's this, she's probably 30,
solid 10.
solid 10. And dude on the bed is probably 70.
Wearing the same clothes or lack thereof.
She buck naked, he buck naked.
She didn't
Dragging on the
put
floor.
on clothes before y'all got there?
I'll get there. So Hollis already told me, Mike, you can intubate this one. It's okay. I was pretty good at it, and I'd already done my surgical rotations, and it was, I mean, I was finished. I was fixing to finish up in December, and if you see my head moving, it's that damn fly. I'm fixing to kill it. Anyway, um, this is just really going to be a graphic conversation. But anyway, long story, that ain't going to be a short story. So old dude's dead on the bed. Girl is buck ass naked. I mean, God, dog, she was Pam Anderson. So what happened? Well, we was having sex, and you can see his little old worm just kind of shriveled up, kind of wet. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, he came and went.
At the same time.
Evidence supports that theory." So we got him on the floor, and Hollis is putting the leads on him, and Hollis is on one side. I'm at the head trying to intubate. Well, here's Missy at the dude's feet, buck naked, squatted down, Indian style, looking. And I'm trying to intubate. And I'm looking. I'm looking straight over dude with his little shriveled up worm, looking at Pamela Anderson, buck naked, squatted down in front of me.
You, you aren't looking for vocal cords.
I'm looking for, I'm, I'm putting the laryngoscope past the lips. That's the only thing I can think of in my head right now. And just out of the damn blue, she says, "Do you mind if I get dressed?"
Not at all.
Hollis goes, "No, no, please." You
Now,
would think that would make it better. It didn't make it better. She stood up, put a robe on, didn't tie the front, squatted down. Here I go. Whoop, kitty. So, anyway, what's his name? Mr. Jones. What happened? We were having sex. Literally came and went. Take him to the hospital. Dr.
wait,
Smith
okay.
is in the ER. And we had the old dude's driver's license, and somehow they found the phone number. Well, this wasn't his wife. He's from Hattiesburg. He got this lady on speakerphone in the ER at the nurses station calling and saying, "Hey, Miss Smith, this is Dr. Smith at Hancock Medical Center. We have your husband. He's had an incident." She said, "Is he with that bitch?" "Ma'am, your husband has passed away." "Burn his ass." Hung up on him. Oops. Guess that didn't work out too well for him or her or anybody, but yeah, the lady he was having the affair with is the one he died with, and his wife didn't give two shits about it. So there was some sad and funny in the whole call, but at the end of the day, Hollis and I are more worried about trying to figure out how Hollis and I are going to get said patient on a board, down the stairs, do CPR, intubate, not lose the IV, no sheriff's department, no fire department, no help.
No lift assist or anything.
Oh, dude, it was in the middle of a damn hurricane. So we just elected to do a old arm and leg carry, no CPR, nothing. He was dead. Didn't matter. Took him down the stairs, and it did matter from a legal perspective. We probably should have waited for help, but we'd have been there for 3 days. We had to do what was best to get the patient to the hospital, and Hollis said, "We're just going to arm and leg carry him down the steps and put him on." So we got the stretcher. Hollis did one arm CPR and bagged him. I went and got the stretcher at the bottom of the stairs. We leg carried him down, and she went to the hospital in a robe.
Truth be told,
Yep.
truth be told, you get a call, you go to a house, it's a full arrest. You you know the guy's been down. He's not going to make it, but he doesn't have rigor. You're going to have to work him.
Absolutely.
So he's in the back room of this house, and the hallway
Especially
is
back
not
in the day. It's changed now where they can not do field resuscitation based on certain criteria, but back in the day, yes.
okay. So um, the hallway is not conducive to getting the stretcher through or any of that. So did you do like me? I'd tell my partner, move that table to the side while he's moving stuff in the great room. I'm going to the bedroom, grabbing this guy and dragging him out to the middle where
Whatever you
I've
can
got room
pull,
to
dude.
work. Do
All
what?
time, every day, all the
Yeah,
time.
I did that so many damn times. It wasn't start right there. It's no, get the patient where I can work him, then start. I treated it like he was in a contaminated scene, and I had to get him out of the out of
Well,
the
I mean, look,
contamination.
they will tell you do not even attempt CPR in a bed. It is useless. You're
Oh,
gonna get rebound. So you don't have any room on the floor. So you're gonna not do it in the bed. You ain't got no room on the floor. You can't do effective resuscitation efforts. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna drag the son of a gun to wherever you got to drag them to do effective CPR. They're gonna die regardless.
move that damn coffee table from in front of the couch. We're making this living room is going to be the code.
Wherever it just happens to be, it could be the kitchen floor, bed, wherever. As long as you can get to the patient
But
all day.
yeah, I did that all the time. I would move the patient and resuscitate where we had room to do it effectively.
You know, you hear them talk today, and I know the survival rates have gone sky high, but I can tell you, I mean, I'm going to think hundreds, thousand. I would say one, it's a 52 times. Let's go one a week, 52 times 10, that's five, probably 1,000 codes. I would say that'd be a fair number. One a week for 52 weeks. That's 52 codes a
Yeah,
year for 20 years. That's roughly a
yeah, that's a
thousand
thousand.
codes.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, probably the easiest way to quantify it is try to do, and that's probably a low number. It could be more, but I mean, sometimes I've had two or three codes in a day. I've had weeks where I didn't have any. So I would just say one a week. So
would
52
be a
times.
good average, a good mean
Yeah,
average.
yeah. So I would say over my career, 1,000 cardiac arrest. Um, I was fortunate. Um, I'm just trying to think. I can think of two where I went to the hospital and met the patient
Afterwards.
afterwards. But I think that rate is significantly higher today than it was
I
when you
had
and I were doing it.
I had one that I got to go visit for about a year and a half at his house and drink coffee with him on his porch.
Hmm.
About once a month, I'd go see him, and we'd catch up.
That's pretty cool, man. It's to literally save somebody's life.
Yep.
Everybody thinks it's heart attacks and car wrecks, and if they only knew. But at the end of the day, the heart attacks and car wrecks are the ones that people generally die or live because of us or lack of us. And I just think I don't know.
Well,
I really would love to know what the stats are today.
but I mean, I can't tell you the number of people that I got a pulse back, but I was still breathing for him. Drop
Oh
dead.
yeah, no, I'm not talking about.
I call that planting another vegetable.
Yeah, no, I don't like planting vegetables and watering the seeds. I'm talking about somebody you can go talk to and they walk out. I think a cardiac, and I think that was the whole precipice to the state run report was survival rates, and tracking it. Um,
Hey, do you know why I go have coffee with that guy once a month?
because you could.
That and he had a hell of a pond back there behind his house.
Oh, he had fish.
Oh,
Did
did
y'all
he
go
have
fishing?
fish? Oh yeah, yeah. We
Hmm.
went fishing. He had big fish, and nobody else. I think I was the. I don't know if he let his grandkids fish in that damn pond, but by God, he let me fish in it.
This dude lived out on Highway 53, Robbie, and I can remember this like yesterday. He had terminal cancer from the VA. And if you're going out Highway 53 westbound from 49, you go probably 10 miles. There is a massive lake on the south side of 53. There's houses around it. This dude lived in one of those houses. And I'm going to get on the
Google
county.
Earth.
No, I'm going to get on, yeah, the county site and find out who it was. But anyway, somehow we got to talk about fishing when we were taking him home. and we were taking him home to die for hospice. And he wanted to go fishing. Said, huh. It had rained. We couldn't do nothing. We put him in a stair chair, took him down to the dock. His grandson brought the fishing pole out there, and he sat there and he cast and caught 2 bass in about 10 minutes. He says, yeah, I get a little tired. We take him up to the house. I'm assuming he died shortly thereafter. But we literally we talked about fishing the whole way. And like I said, it had rained, so there wasn't no way to wheel him down there. He couldn't walk. And his grandson came out there and brought him a couple fishing poles, and he threw them out there, caught a couple bass, and maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes.
That's perfect, man.
And took him up to the house, and adios amigos, bro.
That's the way I want to go out.
Mm.
Or no, I want to
dude
go
that
out.
was having sex.
Yeah, I want to go out like him. I want to go out like him on the downstroke.
All right. Hey, love you, bro. This is
Uh,
always fun. I'm going to get off this phone tonight, so wrap it up for me, son.
All right. Thank y'all so much for watching another episode of Getting 10A. It's always a pleasure to have Mike Pontius, my partner in crime, on this thing. I tell y'all what, again, we would love to hear from y'all. We'd love to get some emails from y'all so we can do email letters. Because look, coming up with ideas to talk about on this, tonight, I'm just going to call this War Stories. It's going to be the name of this episode, War Stories.
I love it.
So what I'd like is I'd like some of y'all to ask us topics to talk about, or have us. Hell, we'll give you marital advice if you ask for it. Hey, if you ask for me, I don't know if
Don't
I'm the guy
ask
you need
you.
to ask.
I'm going to hit you, Robbie.
ask wife 1, 2, or 3. They'll tell you don't listen to that son bitch.
It's called a rob away right here. See where it says rob away?
That's it. Look, so anyway, y'all can email us at Mike's favorite email, and it's going to be right there. There's the email. It is getting10a@gmail.com. Go ahead and email us there, and I will have those things for us to take a look at.
BiloxiMike1@gmail.com.
With that, we're going to get 1010. It's been a pleasure being back with y'all. Thanks for sticking around this long.
Cheers, everybody. Take care.